Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here to break down the 7-game NBA main slate here on Saturday. A couple of things before I get in the video. We're closing in on 1.9 thousand subscribers now. Thank you guys all so much for all the support. If you're new to the channel and enjoying the content, would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. Also, I'm doing a weekly giveaway on this channel. All you have to do is leave a like and a comment in the video. It's one entry into the giveaway. Max one comment though per video. It starts with my Monday Night Showdown video that I had up at the beginning of the week. We'll go throughout the week and end on my Monday Night Showdown video at the end of the week. So however many videos I've uploaded for the week, you can enter the giveaway that many times. Say I have 10 videos up for the week, you can enter the giveaway 10 times. The winner receives $20 PayPal for myself. With that out of the way, let's jump in the video. So sorry if I'm uploading this late, guys. Had a few too many alcoholic beverages last night, so a little bit behind here. But let's try and break down this 7-game NBA main slate. So we'll start at the top at center. Jokic at 10.3K. I just don't know if I want to go there in the slate. He'll have games where he'll take over, and he'll have games where he'll just be very, very passive. And we've seen that. Like he shot the ball 8 times in that game against Dallas, only 6 times against the game against Pelicans. So it's just kind of the luck of whether you're going to get the aggressive Jokic or not. And at 10.3K, I think there's better spend ups in the slate. Now Drummond's a guy that I liked as a contrarian spend up last night. Put up 67 fantasy points. You just want to target bigs against the Bulls. Now he gets a solid matchup here against Brooklyn. I think he's very viable as a spend up. Both Embiid and Towns are out from that ejection the other night, so that's going to open up some value on the slate for sure. Vucevic at 9K is okay. I just think, again, there's probably better spend ups on the slate. Siakam at 8.5K is viable. It's just a tougher matchup here against Milwaukee. I don't know if I want to go there. Draymond, this is pretty big news. He is listed as questionable. People are saying that he's more on the doubtful side, so that's definitely something we have to monitor. Thomas Bryant with no cat will be going up against the likes of Noah Vonleh and Jordan Bell. Yeah, he should have a pretty big game here. This is a pretty high over-under as well, so I do like Thomas Bryant here, a good amount here at 7.2K. Also, just remind me to go over the over-unders and spreads really quick before we jump back into it. So Nets, Pistons at 223 with the Nets favored by 3. Magic, Nuggets is at 200 over-under with Denver favored by 4.5. That's a really, really low over-under. Timberwolves, Wizards at 229. Wizards favored by 3. Suns, Grizzlies at 221.5 with Memphis favored by, or the Suns favored by 3.5. Raptors, Bucks at 227 with the Bucks favored by 6. Hornets, Warriors at 224 with the Hornets favored by 4. And 76ers, Blazers at 223.5 with Blazers favored by 2. But yeah, back to the prices here. So Al Horford. So this is where I get on these Philly guys. Al Horford, Tobias probably had the biggest boost here with no Embiid. They're probably going to start him at the center. I guess they could start Kyle Quinn, but we saw the game that Embiid missed. They just moved Al Horford down to center. So if he starts at center at 7K, I think he's very viable. Jaren Jackson Jr., on a big slate like this, I don't know if I want to get there. Again, he's just always in foul trouble. So very, very risky play there. Whiteside, this is something we have to monitor. He's listed as questionable. If he misses, we could look to, I got Scala BCA that would probably pick up the start. So, again, that's something we do have to monitor. Let's see, Jonas Valanciunas, I would like him if we knew the minutes restriction was lifted, but I still think they're limiting him. So unless we hear news that that limit is off, I don't know if I could go there. But again, he is a guy that can get you there in like 25 minutes at 6.5K. So I do like the price. I would definitely like him if the minutes restriction is lifted. Now, Cody Zeller at 6.4K has been playing big minutes, and bigs have been destroying Golden State this year, so I think he's very viable. Not really the guy last year he used to only play 20 minutes a game. They're playing in big minutes. And again, bigs have been destroying Golden State, so you got to consider him here at 6.4K. Other options, Aaron Baines, viable at 5K. Memphis runs big. They got Valanciunas, Jaren Jackson Jr., Clark off the bench. I don't think we can expect 58 fantasy points again from Aaron Baines, but he's definitely viable. I think 25 or so minutes is a fair projection. Probably like 25 to 30 fantasy points. Again, I don't think we can expect 58 again. So if I think he's going to be that popular and people are going to go back there, I'll probably fade because, again, I really don't think 58 fantasy points is in Aaron Baines again tonight. Guys like DeAndre Jordan and Jarrett Allen, Detroit runs big, so these guys should be asked to play some pretty solid minutes. I think I prefer Jarrett Allen for 300 cheaper. I think the upside's a little bit higher. Let's see, Cauley Stein, I would go there if the minutes restriction is lifted, but they're still limiting his minutes. He only played 17 minutes, so that is something we have to monitor. Frank Kaminsky off the bench, don't mind it. He had a very, very bad shooting day, 0 of 6, only played 18 minutes. Aaron Baines just took over, so don't hate Kaminsky as a pivot. Now we get to Noah Vonleh, who should probably pick at the start. We haven't got it announced yet, but him and Jordan Bell are probably the biggest beneficiaries of no Cat. I really like Noah Vonleh as a cheap option if he starts. He's a guy that is very productive when he's out there, and if he starts, I think he gets 25 or so minutes, maybe more. So yes, I do like Noah Vonleh a good amount as a value play. Probably one of my favorite value plays. Markieff Morris is actually viable at 4.1K. He's playing big minutes, 32 minutes each of the last couple games. We know he's going to be aggressive offensively. So actually kind of like the price tag on him in a good matchup here against Brooklyn. So another cheap play I do like. Christian Wood at 3.6K. It's just the minutes. Like, can he get you there in 15 minutes? Yeah, I guess he is pretty viable. It's close. Like he's a GPP play just because the minutes aren't necessarily secure with him, but another guy that can crush in limited minutes. And if Drummond somehow gets in foul trouble, then Wood could have an enormous game. So he's definitely viable as a GPP play. Jordan Bell, like him a good amount too as well. 3.6K again. Him and Noah Vonleh are probably the biggest beneficiaries. Whoever starts will probably play a little bit more minutes, but I still think if Vonleh starts and Jordan Bell comes up off the bench, I think Bell plays like 20 or so minutes, maybe a little more. Another guy that is very productive one given time. It's a great matchup. So yeah, Jordan Bell and Noah Vonleh, really like those guys as value plays. Wood too for GPPs. Markieff Morris as well. So there are some value plays I do like a good amount here. Mason Plumlee's always a guy that will play limited minutes, but can get you there like 15 minutes, 22 fantasy points. But do I want to play him on the slate over guys like Jordan Bell and Noah Vonleh, Markieff Morris, Wood? Probably not. Now, Quinn's interesting here at 3.4K. I think I would only go there if he starts, because if he doesn't start, probably only get like 15 or so minutes. So, yeah, that's something we will have to monitor. If he starts, I would like him at 3.4K. I think that's it. Yeah, so Scal, again, if Whiteside misses, we could definitely go here at the flat minimum. He's a guy that, again, will probably play 25 or so minutes. And he's also, when he gets time, he's productive. So he would be a really, really solid cheap option if Whiteside does miss. That's kind of it. So let's move on to power forward. Power forward, Giannis at the top at 10.7. It's just, this game in general, not super appealing. Milwaukee and Toronto, two very solid defensive teams. So for me personally, it's kind of a cross-off. Tobias, him and Al Horford, really like these guys. They're going to get a big boost. Tobias will probably shift down to the 4. He's a guy that's going to play big minutes in a pretty solid matchup here against Portland. So I do like Al Horford a good amount. I do like Tobias Harris a good amount. Kelly Oubre is viable at 6.6. Again, Memphis, not the same defensive team as we've seen in the past. So he's a guy that has flash upside. I think he's playable in the mid-range there. Hachimura's, I think, at the price he should be here at 6.2K. He's still playing big minutes. I think he's priced about right with a little bit of upside because of the matchup. Let's see, other options. Covington, these Minnesota guys, the starters get a huge boost with no Cat. Like, that offense was literally just like feed Cat and get out of the way. With Cat out of there now, in a great matchup here against Washington, you're going to want some pieces here to Minnesota. Now, do the minutes go up for Covington? Probably a bit. He's a guy that, when he's knocking down threes, he can get you some fantasy points pretty quick. And he's a guy that will get you their block steals as well. So, yes, I do like Covington a good amount here at 5.4K. Other options, Saric has been very up and down this season, but the upside's pretty big, right? 45 fantasy points, but then on the downside, 9. So very, very up and down, 38, 18. So he's more of a GPP play, but I do like the price on him. Again, we know the upside's there. Brandon Clark currently listed as questionable. This will be something we have to monitor. If he misses, then maybe Valanciunas and Jaren Jackson Jr. get more minutes. And if Valanciunas gets more minutes or is off that minutes limit, I love him at the price. So hopefully we get news before lock. Pascal, this is interesting here, 4.6K. If Draymond Green misses, I'd assume he picks up a start, and it's a great matchup here against the Hornets. So a lot of these Golden State guys are viable here. If Draymond misses, again, I do kind of like the price there on Jarrett Allen, Glenn Robinson. I think I would only go there if Draymond misses. Let's see, other options. I think that's kind of it. I already talked about Scal. I like him a good amount if Whiteside misses. But let's move on to small forward. Ben Simmons at the top at 8.7K. I think he actually goes kind of low owned on the slate. But it's a great matchup and a no Embiid. There's so much usage to go around. I think everyone is going to go to like Horford and Tobias. And I think Ben Simmons goes lower owned. That doesn't mean he's a bad play. I just think he goes a lot lower owned compared to those other Philadelphia guys. And we know Ben Simmons has pretty big upside. He has 50, 60 fantasy point upside in this matchup. So he's viable at 8.7K. Again, I think the flocks will pivot to Tobias and Al Horford. Not saying they're bad plays. I just feel like they're a little bit safer. But Ben Simmons, we know the upside's there. And I think the ownership will be kind of low on him. Middleton, Bledsoe are always just guys that go with Giannis out, and it's a tough matchup. I think I'll pass. Now, Wiggins at 7.1K with no cat, he's probably going to shoot the ball 20 to 25 times, and it's a good matchup. So I'm a little torn here. I hate playing this guy because he's so scoring dependent, but it's such a good matchup, and there's so much usage to go around that he's viable at 7.1K for sure. Karis LeVert was a guy I liked a good amount last night. He had a big game, 36 fantasy points in 32 minutes. I think he's fairly priced. With a little bit of upside, but I think I'd probably prefer some other plays. The Charlotte guys, Bridges at 5.6K is viable. It's a great matchup here against Golden State. So all those Charlotte starters 100% viable, and they're very, they're very cheap. So that game as part of a game stack is, definitely something you can do because you can. All the guys in this game are, pretty cheap. Besides like D'Angelo Russell, a lot of the guys just kind of mid-price. So you could definitely stack that game, then get a couple studs in it. Wouldn't mind that at all for GPPs. Let's see. Other options. Will Barton currently listed as questionable. If he misses, like Torrey Craig will pick up a few minutes, but he's a very low usage guy. I don't know if I would want to go there. Dwayne Bacon at 4.3K. It's just such a good matchup. I know he's kind of been bad the last few games, but he's viable as a cheap option. Okoji's actually been getting solid minutes here at 3.8K, getting like 20 to 25 minutes, but I think I'd prefer those value bigs from Minnesota more than Okoji. Now, Matisse Thybulle, I think that's how you pronounce his name, he picked up the start when Embiid missed. They shifted everyone down. He's a guy that can get you there on blocks and steals, but I think I would prefer a couple other value plays like those value bigs over him, but he's still viable. Let's see. Damian Lee at 3.5K. The Golden State guards, it's tough. Like, no one's playing huge minutes besides D'Angelo Russell. So I think he's okay. I think I'd prefer some other value bigs, but he's a guy that does have upside. He had put up 40 fantasy points in one game. So he's definitely in play as a cheap option for sure. I think that's kind of it. So let's move on to shooting guard. Shooting guard is Beal at the top at 9.7K. You guys know he's just going to shoot the ball a ton. He put up 72 fantasy points in the last game against Houston. So the upside's there. In a close game, he's going to play 35 to 40 minutes. And he's a guy that will fill up the stat sheet. He honestly does have a little bit of triple-double upside. In a great matchup, I do like him a good amount as a spend-up. D'Angelo Russell, I like as well at 8.9K. It's a great matchup against Charlotte. Possibly no Draymond Green. It's literally only going to be D'Angelo Russell for that offense. So yes, I do like him a good amount here in a great matchup. If Draymond Green misses, that's even more usage to go around. I like Devin Booker, too, at 8.3K. Again, not scared of Memphis defense. He's a guy that will play mid-30s minutes in a close game. No DeAndre Ayton. We know he's going to shoot the ball 15 to 20 times. He has upside, and I like the price. So I like all three of these guards here a good amount. Beal, D'Angelo Russell, and Devin Booker. I love the upside in those guys. Jamal Murray at 7K. I think he's priced fairly now. And again, I'm going to prefer those other stud guards for a little bit more. CJ McCollum's a guy that's been up and down here, but we know he does have upside. The price is fair in the mid-range, so I do kind of like that. Devontae Graham, they're playing him next to Rozier a good amount. He's playing big minutes off the bench, like 30 or so minutes. It's a great matchup. 5.8K, I think he's fairly priced. If he's going to continue to play this type of minutes, I definitely think he's viable. Let's see. Josh Richardson is a guy that, will get a little bit more usage with no Embiid. At 5.1K, I think he's definitely viable. Again, I think a lot of people go to Tobias and Al Horford. But Josh Richardson and Ben Simmons definitely in play as well. Other options, let's see. Jordan Poole picked up a start at 3.8K. He played close to 30 minutes. Another guy that is very scoring dependent, but if he's going to be out there for like 30 or so minutes, you can play him as a cheap option. If he's knocking down shots, he can get you there for sure. I think that's kind of it for shooting guard. So let's move on to point guard. Point guard at the top, Kyrie. Him and Harden were a little bit of a letdown in like the best possible matchup. Harden's a guy that I talked about. I just can never get Harden right. I played him now 4 of the 5 times this year, and each of those 4 times he has got like over 55, and the one time I faded him gets like 80. Kyrie kind of busted in a good. I mean, he wasn't terrible. 45 fantasy points. I think he was 9K. Now we get the matchup here against Detroit. We got no Reggie Jackson, possibly no Tim Frazier and Derrick Rose. So it's going to be interesting to see what Detroit does with their starting lineup if those guys miss. So Kyrie, definitely viable as a spend up. Damian Lillard, same thing at 9.1K. He's a guy that's been getting like 40, 50 fantasy points a night. So definitely in play as a spend up. Again, I do really like the upside here in D'Angelo Russell. It's basically him and like no one else in that offense. Really like Booker as well. I do like Rozier at 6.9K too. He's a guy that will play 35 minutes in a close game. The matchup is great. Like, you can't get a better matchup here than against Golden State. And again, I like this game as part of a game stack, but because besides like D'Angelo Russell, everyone is priced in the mid-range. So you can definitely run a game stack back of this game for GPPs, pair him with a few studs, and yeah, I do kind of like that build. So Terry Rozier, I love the upside here. 40, 50 fantasy point upside in a great matchup. I do like him a good amount. I think he goes a little bit lower owned today, but I like the price on him. John Morant, just the minutes. Like, if he would play 35 minutes, I would really like him, but they're limiting him to like 25 to 30 minutes at 6.8K. I just don't know if I want to go there. Now, Derrick Rose currently listed as questionable. Him as well as Tim Frazier are both questionable. If Derrick Rose misses, then I would really like Tim Frazier as a value play because I think the minutes would be pretty secure on him. If both those guys miss, we'll see what Detroit does with the starting lineup. So that'll be something we have to monitor. Jeff Teague is in play here at 5.9K. Not a guy that I get super excited about, but with no cap, that's so much usage to go around. Teague probably play 25 to 30 minutes in a great matchup. So, yes, he's definitely in play here. Isaiah Thomas is only for GPPs for me, but he's a guy that's been lighting it up here in limited time. 20 minutes, 28 fantasy points, 24 minutes, 36 fantasy points. Now, I don't think we can necessarily expect that level of production to continue, but if he starts or the minutes restriction is lifted, then I would really like Isaiah Thomas. So, yeah, that's something we have to monitor. If he continues to come off the bench, I think he's a GPP play with upside because he can crush in limited time. Other options, I think that's kind of it. I mean, Shabazz off the bench at 3.8K, don't mind him. He's a guy that, again, can get you there in limited time. But yeah, that's basically it, guys. So I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you have been enjoying the content, would really appreciate it if you would like this video and subscribe. Again, if you want to get entered the giveaway, all you have to do is leave a like and a comment on the video. That's one in the giveaway. I will be live streaming probably 30 to 45 minutes before lock on my YouTube channel, going over any injury news we get, any late breaking news. So very important to check out the live stream as well as follow me on Twitter. That will be in the description below. So thanks again for coming to check out the video, guys, and I will see you later.